M1 Finance is one of the most popular investment app out there right now, and many people believe it's the best investment app because M1 has everything to offer. You can use it to invest in stocks and ETFs, and most importantly, the app is very easy to use and it costs you nothing. It's free. But just like anything else, there are pros and cons, and so today I'll be going over some of the good and the bad of M1 Finance so you guys can better decide if it's actually the best investment app or platform for you to use this year. Now, just before we get into the details about the M1 Finance app, a very quick reminder here. If you're new and you're seeing me for the very first time, my name is Ian, and here on this channel, I talk about ways to make money, save money, investing, banking, and all things personal finance related. So if these are topics that will interest you, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. I'll really appreciate it. And also consider subscribing to this channel and turning on the notifications when you do so you can get the updates on when I post new videos here. And I post a new video here every single day on YouTube. And also, if you guys have any topics or just about anything that you'd like me to make a video about, just drop me a comment down below with it, especially since I'm posting videos here every day now and I may be running out of things to talk about or information that you guys may be interested in. So drop me all the comments of anything personal finance related that you'd like me to make a video about. And guys, I have received a couple video requests, and this video was actually requested by Virgo, who is a subscriber here, who wanted me to talk about M1 Finance. So thanks for the video idea, Virgo. Now, M1 Finance is free, right? And actually, before I even start talking about M1 Finance, let me just say that I do actually use this app, and I have been using it for about 2 years now. And although I use it, I'm not going to be telling you guys that you should use this app, right? If you scroll all the way down to this video description, you will see a link which is a referral link to M1, which gives you $10 if you like to use the app. You can use the link to sign up and you'll get $10, and I'll get $10 also. But if you feel that the app isn't for you, then that's fine also. And I'm going to be telling you guys the good and the bad. And also, this video isn't sponsored and I'm not being paid for any of my videos. So even the ones with links below, they're always going to be there just because I found the app or the product useful and I'm sharing it. So M1 Finance does three things, or three important things. It allows you to invest, of course, because it's an investment app. And then it also allows you to spend also because they have a checking account linked to it with a debit card. And then you can also borrow money. I'll cover all these in just a bit, and if this is your first time hearing about M1 Finance, or if you have any experience with it, go ahead and comment down below right now and let me know what your experience is like. And if you still like the app, and even if you don't like it, comment down below and tell me why you don't like it. And then at the end of this video, if you have any changes to the way you think about the app, reply to that comment you just made with what you think then. So let's first talk about investing with M1 Finance. M1 Finance is an online broker and investment manager all in one. Unlike many other investment brokers or services, they allow for both self-managed and robo-directed investing. So what this really means is if you want to be able to create your own portfolios and pick your own stocks to investing and control everything, then you can do so with M1 Finance. If on the other hand, you don't want to do that and you want a simple or even a complex investment portfolio where all you do is simply add money and watch everything else work on autopilot, then M1 Finance does that as well. So M1 has portfolios, and on M1 Finance, they refer to them as pies. So I could create a pie with a bunch of stocks that I like in one sector, and then another pie for something else. You can have multiple pies in M1 Finance. So for instance, I have a pie called dividend income, which I handpick stocks in such a way that I would be paid a monthly dividend every single month. And it's also a mixture of stocks and ETFs. For that pie, I can set the amount or size of a slice of the pie that each stock gets, and I can put money into the pie as a whole. And then M1 will divide the money into different slices so as to ensure that each stock or ETF in that pie gets its fair amount. M1 also has some other pies which you can use as soon as you sign up, and these pies are just built for you if you either don't know exactly how to invest and what to invest in, or you know your risk level. So if you want the least amount of risk, then M1 can offer a couple pies that will have ETFs or bonds that are low risk. And if it is that you still aren't sure what you want to do but you feel like taking on some more risk, you can go for a medium or high risk pie, and then also have them based on what your goals are. So, for example, I just mentioned that I have a pie for dividend income or monthly dividend income, and M1 actually has their own pies that are geared towards earning money, like dividend payouts and also growth pies, which are suited for those looking to grow wealth over the long term. They actually have over 80 of these expert pies, so no matter what level you're at, you'll be able to find a pie that will work for you if you don't want to create one for yourself. Now, I tried looking for every stock that I could think of, and I was able to find them all on M1 Finance, so I think they have everything, and if they don't, they are pretty close to it. Now, another plus here is that with M1 Finance, you can invest in fractional shares. Now, if you don't know what fractional shares are, in simple terms, it's a fraction of a share. So for example, let's say you want to invest in Tesla, but the stock is worth $1,500 right now at the time of making this video. You can't afford to invest $1,500 right now, so that means you can't buy Tesla stock, and you'd have to go and buy some other stocks that you didn't like for less money. With fractional shares, you can invest $10 into Tesla, and instead of getting one stock that's valued at $1,500, you get a fraction of that stock that's worth $10 at the time of buying it. This really helps in making investing for everyone, and that's why with the M1 Finance app, you will be able to start investing with as little as $10, no matter which stock you want to invest in. Now, there are a couple drawbacks here. The first one is the timing window or the trade window and how trades are done. So you can only trade once per day with the free account, and that's in the mornings. So if you make any trades in your account during the day, they won't take place until the next day at that time unless you do them before the trade window in the morning. If you want to be able to trade during the day, M1 offers a second trade window in the afternoon, but you have to be an M1 Plus member to have access to that. The second downside here is that although the account is free, if you have less than $20 in your account and you do nothing for 90 days or 90 plus days, they will charge you. Now, 90 days is 3 months, so surely you should have activity in your account at least once per month, even if it's just adding funds to your investments. But if you don't, then you'll be charged. The third problem I found with M1 here is the absence of financial advisors, and this may not be a con for you if you know what you're doing, but I've included it because other investment apps are offering this for free, like SOFI Invest, although if I were to compare the two, I would have to choose M1 Finance over SOFI Invest because they don't have much on their investment platform. So now let's move into the borrow and spending parts of M1 Finance, and to be able to do so, you must be an M1 Finance Plus member, and the membership starts at or costs you around $125 per year, which is just a little over $10 per month. So with this membership, you'll get that second trade window as mentioned before, where you can now do trades twice per day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. With this membership, you also get lower interest rates on loans through M1 Borrow and higher interest rates on cash held in an M1 Spend account. So here's how the borrow feature works. Let's say you wanted to borrow some money to invest, which I advise against, by the way, or if you wanted to borrow some money for some other personal expenses. Traditionally, you would have to go to the bank, sign up for the loan, they run your credit and look at your income and then tell you if you're approved or not, and they may offer you less money depending on your approval. Now with M1 Finance and M1 Borrow, it's almost instant, and here there's no credit check because you're now borrowing this money and using your investments as security. So if you decide not to pay back, then M1 won't lose any money because they can take your investments to cover the funds that you owe them. Investments can fluctuate in value though, and so you may now be wondering, well, how does M1 protect themselves in the event that you borrow, let's say $100,000, and then you don't pay it back, and then when they try to take your investments at the time, the investment value fluctuated to $90,000. Well, they don't allow you to take out a loan on the max amount you've invested. You can only get 35% of your investments in a loan from M1 Borrow. So if you have $100,000 invested, then you could get $35,000 to borrow. And remember, the best part about this is that there is no credit check. Now, before I said you had to be an M1 Plus member to borrow, and my mistake, guys, you can borrow even if you're not an M1 Plus member, but the difference is if you're a free user, you'll pay about 3.5% in interest normally on the loan, and if you're an M1 Plus member, then you'll pay around 2% in interest, and borrowing and sending the money to your bank account and also setting up a repayment plan can all be done from the M1 app. I think this is a very, very good feature. Now, finally, we have M1 Spend, which is a checking account that you can get with M1 Finance. So normally when you have an investment app like Robinhood, for example, you will add funds to your Robinhood account, but you don't always invest those funds immediately. So let's say you add funds each week as you get paid to your investment account, but you wait a couple days or weeks before you actually invest the money in anything because you want to think about what you're investing in and how much money you want to put into each stock or ETF. Now that money just sits there in the account and does nothing. In the case of Robinhood, they'll bank it somewhere for you and gain interest while you decide what you want to invest in. So M1 Spend gives you a debit card where you can easily withdraw from your investments and get cash quickly. And also the checking account earns you interest instead of nothing when compared to some other investment apps. So any money in this M1 Spend account will earn you 1% in interest, and this is even a little higher than most online banks are able to offer right now. They went even a step further though and are giving 1% cashback on all purchases made with the M1 Spend debit card. Now, comparing this to other investment apps, you'll realize that M1 is doing more for its clients here. Now, as I mentioned before, M1 is free and you don't pay any fees. And apart from the cons I mentioned earlier in this video, I really can't find anything else wrong with the M1 platform. They offer over the phone and email support, and the only time you'll pay a fee is when you invest in an ETF. And that will be just the management costs associated with that ETF, which will be the same regardless of which investment app or platform you use. It's usually a fraction of a percent, which you really don't see. So if you were or if you are thinking about using M1, this should help you out. And also, the M1 Plus membership isn't always $125. They usually have discounts right along the year when you can get in for about $100 or thereabout if you want to upgrade to get the interest-paying checking account and the cashback debit card. So all in all, if you want an investment platform that is free, has all the stocks and ETFs, has expertly created portfolios, and allows you to borrow against your investments all for free, then M1 is a very good choice. If you also want to earn interest from your checking account and debit card, then $10 a month I think is worth it, especially if you're doing a lot. Let me know what your thoughts are on M1 Finance now that you've watched this video, and also if you've changed your perspective on this investment app. If you like the information in this video, be sure to hit the like button, as that's how these videos get recommended to more people, and I'll really appreciate it. Also, consider subscribing to the channel and turning on the notification when you do so you can get updated on when I post new videos here. And I post a new video here every single day on YouTube. Also guys, I've left a couple links down below to free stuff and free cashback offers, so be sure to check the links down below to all kinds of free stuff, and the link down below to M1 Finance where you can get $10 if you choose to invest with the app. Also, be sure to check out WEBULL, which is another free investment app or platform. And by signing up using the link down below, you'll get 2 free stocks that can be valued at up to over $1,000 when you invest with just $100 in your investment account. If you like the stocks, you keep them. If you don't, you can sell them and keep the cash, or buy some other stocks that you prefer to invest in. If you're a new viewer or subscriber here on the channel, be sure to check out some of my other videos on high yield savings accounts, checking accounts, investments, credit cards, and ways that you can use and make some money. Once again, guys, thanks for tuning into the channel. All the best, and until tomorrow.